kiss for you.
बैक। जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं कि पिछले वीडियो में हमने स्टार्ट किया था सेल स्ट्रक्चर। वी हैड स्टार्टेड व्हाट वाज द सेल स्ट्रक्चर, बेसिक सेल स्ट्रक्चर। इट मींस सेल इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ certain living substances which are known as cell organelles, and there are certain non-living substances that we'll discuss in our later part of the video. जैसा कि हम जानते हैं, we have studied that cell organelles are basically classified into three categories: cytoplasm, then we have cell wall or cell membrane, then we have a nucleus. So these three are the most important cell organelles that you should keep in mind. Nucleus के जैसे हमने बताया, I have told you that you just need to, if you have clearly observed and minutely seen every part of the diagram of nucleus, you don't have to, memorize anything. It automatically comes into mind. When you see the denser part of cytoplasm, you know that it's nucleoplasm. The membrane is not continuous. So it's basically, if you know the diagram, then you are very easily, you can write what the structure of the particular organelle is. Now we move on to the next part of the cell organelles, where we will have some mitochondria, then we will have ribosomes, etc. and etc. A lot of cell organelles are to be studied which are a part of cell. So now let us move on to that. Let's start with the very first organelle, one of the most important organelles when you study cytology, that is mitochondrion. On plural form we call mitochondrion as mitochondria. Now one thing you need to keep in mind, किसी भी चीज को फंक्शन करने के लिए, anything to function, one needs energy. किसी भी काम को करने के लिए we need energy. So cell performs a lot of work. We studied that all that digestion, respiration, movement, locomotion, everything is performed by cells. Thinking, drinking, everything is performed by cells. So much of function करने के लिए energy चाहिए. And last time I told you also कि RBC जो होता है वो ऑक्सीजन कैरी करता है. And most of the time we have learned it before that कि respiration के टाइम ऑक्सीजन जो होता है फूड के साथ रिएक्ट करके एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करता है. इसी चीज के लिए एनर्जी की जरूरत होती है. वी ऑल रिक्वायर एनर्जी फॉर दिस. सो एनर्जी को रॉ मटेरियल से एनर्जी को पहले जनरेट करना पड़ता है. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट coal, we know all that coal is used to generate electricity, but you cannot use coal to directly light a bulb or something like that. First it has to be processed into a generator, and then electricity is produced, which is brought to our homes, and then we switch on bulbs, fans and other appliances using that electricity. Similarly, यदि एनर्जी बनाना है तो ग्लूकोज और ऑक्सीजन को भी प्रोसेस करना होगा, and that work is done inside the cell using mitochondrion. So mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. यहीं पर एनर्जी बनती है. But you keep one thing in mind while teaching you cytoplasm. I told you that कि every first reaction हमेशा साइटोप्लाज्म में होगा. तो एनर्जी जब भी पहले ग्लूकोज आएगा तो फर्स्ट रिएक्शन होगा उसका साइटोप्लाज्म में, और उसके बाद जब वो आएगा माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया के अंदर, एंड देन फिर वो उस हिसाब से होगा एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन. नाउ लेट अस लुक ऑन टू द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया इज हैविंग टू मेम्ब्रेन्स. वन इज एन आउटर मेम्ब्रेन, वन इज एन इनर मेम्ब्रेन. So two membranes, first thing to know in the structure. Now in the word nucleus we use the term nuclear to say, with membrane as a prefix. We use nuclear membrane, nuclear pore, nucleoplasm, like this. So similarly when you use mitochondria we say mitochondrial, not mitochondrion. We say mitochondrial membrane. So outer mitochondrial membrane is this is the outer membrane, this is the inner mitochondrial membrane. Then you can see that the inner mitochondrial membrane is folded to form finger-like structures. Finger, अंगुलियों की तरह जो इसमें projections होते हैं in inner mitochondrial membrane. So you need to, few things you have to keep in mind. That first thing, that mitochondria is a rod shaped organelle. इसको sausage shaped भी कहते हैं. We call it as a sausage shape, but preferably you should write it is a rod shaped organelle. Second thing, it has two membranes. Third thing, the inner membrane is folded to form finger-like structures. Okay, and these finger-like structures is known as cristae. Crista, we call these as, we call them as crista, but cristae means the plural form of crista. So one mitochondria has many cristae, and then this cristae are studded by, that means studded means उसके ऊपर present होता है, so studded by some particles which are known as F0 F1 particles. Now you see one thing, when you place 0 before F, it is not known as F0, it is known as F0, and so that would be F0 F1 particles. So F0, so fourth point would be cristae is studded by F0 F1 particles. Then fifth point, a dense semi-fluid is present. In cells or in any organisms, you will not find a pure fluid. A semi-fluid will be always present. That means some amount of solid that is already dissolved in this fluid. So that's why it has a semi-fluid inside, which is known as matrix. Okay, matrix. In mathematics also, हम लोग पास एक topic होता है matrix. Don't confuse with that. I've already told you about matrix. Now you can see some thread-like structures inside the matrix. Now this is known as mitochondrial gerome. Now DNA and RNA, ये भी terms हम लोग जब nucleus में भी cover किए थे. That means this organelle has the capability to replicate, make a copy of itself during the time of the cell division. Because energy requirements is for always. You cannot stop for a while or something like that. तो हमेशा और माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया का प्रेजेंस जरूरी है, इसलिए वो रेप्लिकेट कर सकता है. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नोन एज सेमी ऑटोनोमस मेम्ब्रेन organelle. So keep that thing in mind. So structure of mitochondria is very clear. First of all, it is rod shaped. Second thing, two membranes, double inner membrane is folded to form finger like structures, which is known as cristae. Each cristae is studded by F0 F1 particles. Then inside the mitochondria is filled with a semi-fluid that is known as matrix. Then we have some thread-like structures in matrix known as mitochondrial gerome. Now one thing you may be imagining, the organelle looks like this. No, it is a cross section. That means I have cut the organelle, it looks like it is rod and you have cut the rod horizontally. That is cross section. So we have taken a cross section of mitochondria. So we have already done the structure part. Now we move on to the location. Now location, mitochondria is scattered in the cytoplasm in case of animals and in plant cells. Since it is same in case of animal and plant cell, you should simply write scattered in the cytoplasm in animal cell and plant cell. Okay. Then you have function. So function is it stores and generates and stores energy in the form of ATP. Now few things you need to understand with mitochondria which are very important. Just an additional topic for you to learn and understand the topic more clearly. Energy production in a cell. Now energy production occurs in a series of steps, but basically one occurs beside outside the mitochondria and one occurs inside the mitochondria. So whenever glucose molecule formula is C6H12O6. So it is C6H12O6. So this combines with 6 molecules of oxygen to form 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and it liberates energy. So this is what is sum total reaction. But first of all, glucose molecule is too large to enter the cell organ. First of all, already told you that cells are very small. So यदि अगर cells बहुत small है, तो definitely molecules का भी size होना चाहिए उस हिसाब से. It does not mean that what molecule is entering inside the cytoplasm has the capability to enter mitochondria also. Maybe उसका shape छोटा करना जरूरी है. तो इसीलिए in the first step of energy production, this is known as glycolysis. This step does not require any oxygen. So in the absence of oxygen, the energy production, respiration takes place, and C6H12O6 is broken down in something which is known as pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid. Now this pyruvic acid is further brought to, means this glucose will be decomposed into two molecules of pyruvic acid. Then this pyruvic acid is small enough to enter the mitochondria. Here another cycle takes place which is known as Krebs cycle, and here this pyruvic acid gets combined with oxygen and releases carbon dioxide, water, and the energy which is liberated, that is used. So first of all, it is converted into a special form of chemical compound that is known as ADP. ADP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Now this phosphate term you have encountered before also when you are studying chemistry. That phosphate is same. So it is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. इसको store करता है. तो इसीलिए that is known as powerhouse of the cell. Now we move on to the give reason part of our video class. Now we started with mitochondria. So the first one would be mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. Why it is called the powerhouse of the cell? Because it generates and stores energy in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Now second thing, plant cells have fewer mitochondria than animal cells. Now see, plant cells they are able to utilize the natural source of light, that is the sunlight. वो लोग sunlight को consume कर लेते हैं, हम लोग तो नहीं ना कर सकते हैं. So therefore plant cells, you are able to utilize the natural source of energy, whereas animal cells do not. This is the first point. That's why I used to speak out reasons, because reasoning certain things have two or more points. Second thing, very important, that and plants, they don't have to perform locomotion, so their energy requirement is very less. So plant cells have very less mitochondria compared to an animal cell. All for today. If you think that I was able to build your concept and we were here to learn something new, then please like my video and subscribe my channel Study with Aditya. Thank you.